Okay, everybody, I am back. Lisa broke the internet. Let me give you a second to jump back on, everybody. Oh, it's so frustrating. I was on a roll too. I was talking about salespeople. What does it take, for salespeople to be crazy successful? And the fact that as entrepreneurs or as people in the sales industry, what does it take? And here we go. Now we're jumping back on. Let me give it a minute here. Mabel, good morning. Janelle. See, I'm not going to let the internet going down on me. Chantel, how are you? Chantel. Renee just texted me. She said it froze. I know. Doggone it. Um, but what we were talking about before we froze, before Lisa broke the internet, is what it takes to be great in sales. Because I'm a personal opinion that a strong and well-trained sales team is the economic stimulus package of our country. I think it's the economic stimulus package of every company out there. And so many companies, so many people don't believe that they've got to invest in their sales organizations. Good morning, Paul and Patty and Max and Anthony and Mabel. Thank you for jumping back on because Lisa broke the internet. Um, and so, yesterday I was talking, morning, Liza. So yesterday I was telling you guys about a friend of mine who was over at the house and we were talking about sales. I tend to talk about sales all the time with people because if you're not selling something, you're out of business. And I'm going to read to you what she said. I read it yesterday, but I think it's that powerful. And I had a couple people say, will you go ahead and read it again today? Yes, Natalie, I am back. And what she said, when you find yourself in the weeds with all of the pettiness that can happen in an organization, you're having the wrong conversations you're having the wrong conversations with the wrong people. Get to power. Go as high as you can in the organization where they care about the big picture and results. Get above the fray and go to power. They want to solve big problems. Everyone else will fall in line when you are solving problems identified by the top. How many of you out there are trying to do business in the middle? You haven't gotten to the right person yet. So you keep getting that door slammed. You keep getting that indecision. I'm not sure whether we need your product or your service. Well, if you truly believe that you have a product or service that is a game changer for a company, any company, then as my friend says, get to power. Get as high in the organization as you can go because those are the people that see the big picture. They are the people that have it all on the line. And she ended it with, everyone else will fall in line when you are solving problems identified by the top. I absolutely think that is one of the wisest things I have heard probably in my entire career. I made her text it to me yesterday morning. And it is so true. Definition of insanity. That's what I was saying when we got cut off, is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. If you have a company, or if you work for a company and you want to go to the next level in 2019, it's not going to happen by osmosis. You've got to be able to dig in. You've got to be able to identify the problems and the opportunities. And then from there, you start dissecting them. I always start with the problems. And what I have found over the years, the problems are typically in a company, or you have the wrong people in power. You got the wrong people. So you fix the people problem. Hello, AutoMax. That's for my friends in the automotive industry, and in other industries, there's other ways to do that. And then with the right people, you start a discovery process. And then from that discovery process, you build a strategic plan. Okay, and you really can't cut any of those steps out if you're out there and you're looking for increase. But always, 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 you got to start with the people. Do you have, over the years, what do you hear? What are the two things that cause a company to fail? People and processes. Lack of processes. Lack of people, lack of processes equals giant failure. Okay? Finding the right people to be on your sales team, finding the right people to be able to represent your company, and when you're not able to make the sales that you want to make, get to the top. You're probably not talking to the right person. And I think that's where a lot of people give up. Sharon Lechter wrote a book, 3 Feet from Gold. How many of us stop 3 feet from gold? Well, 97% of the people in the world stop because so many times you're talking to the wrong person. You haven't gotten to power yet. You haven't gotten to the person that it will affect their life, their business, their future by using your product or service. And that's typically somebody sitting in the C-suite. Now, some companies do have a very good mid-management who really do care and they're willing to try new things, but it's rare. It's super rare, you know? And so, I just, several people commented on that yesterday. I think it's one of the wisest things that I've heard. I've got to tell you guys and gals, I only start at the top. I do. I'm lucky I have a good Rolodex, but I only start at the top. I'm really not interested in talking to the middle because the middle is going to waste your time so many times. I get to the top, I analyze it, I do discovery, I check out the people, and it's pretty easy at that point to create a plan. To create a plan, I promise you. Natalie says you have to have the right people and be willing to change and adapt if things aren't going right. Don't do the insanity, right? Definition of insanity, and do things over and over the same way, even with new people. Amen. That's why I said you check out the people. Then at that point, you have to check out, what are the processes and procedures that you've already done that have you stuck? Because that is the definition of insanity, Scott Simon says, good morning. How are you, my friend? And so I want to encourage you, and the greatest salespeople in the world, what do? We know how to bring buyers and sellers into mutual agreement. And why is mutual agreement important? It is important because if we don't have mutual agreement, we are not going to create a customer for life. We might close a deal. We might, we might get the sale done. It's typically a low margin sale because, you're doing this, you're negotiating, they don't understand the value of you, your product or your service. They may buy it. They don't understand the value. So therefore, that means they're probably not going to stick around. They're going to buy from you one time. They're certainly not going to become a raving fan. So what is the art of bringing a buyer and a seller into mutual agreement? And that's what we're going to kind of be talking about all this week. I'm working with a couple companies right now, and that's what I'm helping them do. And so I'm sharing with you all of the knowledge and of what I'm putting out there and the things that I'm presenting to them. Gone are the days of hammering people, closing people, tricking people, pressuring people. I'm sorry if you have a business that's like that, you're not my people. You're not in my tribe. Because I'm all about building lifelong relationships with people, retaining the people you've got, and then looking for increase of 20 to 30% by finding new people. So you want to retain 100% of the clients you've got, and then you want to look to increase business by 20 to 30% by finding and curating new clients. So what does that mean? That means you're spending more time on maintaining the business you've got and not as much time on new clients, but that's okay because that business you've got is already there. It's hard to find new clients. That's why that 20 to 30% rule on finding new clients is a good one. That's a great balance because I don't know a business out there that would not look for increase of 20 to 30% year over year. That's great. Anything more than that, it's a little suspect unless there's something great that's happened with your products. At that point, you might be churning too many people. So think about that. Let's see what you guys have to say. Lori, get beyond the middle. Too many roadblocks there. Top needs to hear you. Yes, thank you, Lori. Michelle, be malleable enough to audit your own process. Absolutely, girl. Carrie, good morning. Craig, get in and stay in alignment, loosely quoted by John Hamlin. Yes, John Hamlin. I've actually been on sales presentations with John Hamlin. And he does a good job. You guys met him on the show. But he absolutely, says, are we in agreement now? Here's this, this, and this. Do you agree with me? But, again, he's building consensus. And he's very good at building consensus. And the people that I know build consensus. There's a lot of people out there that sell from an adversarial standpoint. It's like, I'm going to beat you, you're going to beat me. And it's just, it's not a way to build a business to be able to go back to that book at the next year and say, I'm going to maintain 100% here of my clients, and I'm going to build 20 to 30%. That's a solid business model used in the Fortune 1, Fortune 5, Fortune 1000. And, There's a reason that they're in the Fortune 1, 5, and 1,000. They're called best practices. Frank, never take a no from someone that can't get you a yes in the first place. Oh, that's gold, Frank. Frank says, never take a no from someone that can't even get you a yes in the first place. And so what Frank is saying, you can't take a no from the middle. They're saying, yeah, no, I'm not interested. Get out of here. Well, dude, you can't even make the decision in the first place. So no, I'm not going to let you rob your company of me, my product, and my service. Wow. Okay, you guys are rocking this morning. Natalie, yes, Pat, good for maintaining and growth. What did Pat say? I don't see Pat on here. I'd love to see what Pat said. Anyways, this is a good conversation this morning. Tomorrow morning, we are going to have Mr. Chris Martinez on. And Chris is now software as services. He is working with Cardone Enterprises. He's my good friend. And oh, hey, Chris, how are you? Yes, so Chris will be on tomorrow. He's been in Miami. He'll be out at NADA, but he is partnered with Cardone Enterprises and bringing their software products to market. And we're not going to really talk so much about AutoMiner and his software products, but we're going to talk about the partnerships and what it takes and what he sees out there from a consultative sales process, because Chris is all things that. He's written 3 books. He's a super guy, but he did a really good job in the transition from leaving the dealership to bringing his software platform and finding a great partner in the Cardone organization. And they are out there and they are crushing it right now. And we're going to talk to Chris about what that transition looked like and now how, they are taking their product to market, because I think it's fascinating. And I love to see people that are succeeding. And my good friend, Chris Martinez, is crushing it. So he will be on here tomorrow. Patricia says, we sell every day, even our ideas. Yes, ma'am, we do. My good friend Kendrick Shope, she was on Steve Harvey, and she said, you even have to sell your kids on going to bed at night. You got to sell your husband on this. You got to sell this, this, and this. Like, we are in a constant state of sales. Constant. But you can't be, you can't be a hammer. Now, you can be a velvet hammer, but, those are not the most successful salespeople. The most successful bring a buyer and seller into mutual agreement. Amen. So with that being said, we're a little bit over. I'm so sorry we got cut off today, but I love you guys. Sharing is caring, as my good friend Anthony would say. Put it out there. Tune in tomorrow. Share this with your friends. Put it into your groups. Chris Martinez will be here. We'll be talking all things sales tomorrow, all things, partnering, which I'm very big on also, and about his partnership with Cardone Enterprises. And we will see you guys tomorrow morning on 15 Minutes of Fierce. Remember, if you're stuck, if you're trying to sell to the middle, don't take a no from somebody who can't say yes. Thank you, Frank. Another word from the wise, and don't think I'm not writing that one down. It might even make my book. All right, guys, take care.